They thought they had won the moment they caught him. A lone Terran soldier, pulled from the wreckage of his corvette, bruised and bleeding, surrounded by a dozen armored guards. The alien warlords of the Shirathi Dominion laughed as they chained him in their strongest bindings. As they dragged him through their warship halls like a broken trophy, he never spoke. Not when they interrogated him with fire and knives. Not when they played recordings of his destroyed fleet. Not when they mocked the fragility of his species. He only watched. The Shirathi mistook silence for defeat. They mistook stillness for despair. To them, a prisoner who did not beg was already broken. But humanity's silence had always been something else. Humanity's silence was the pause before a storm. They brought him to the flagship Dominion's Fist, seat of Admiral Kor, ruler of 1,000 systems. There, in a chamber filled with the scent of ozone and blood, the Admiral demanded answers. Where is your command? Where is Earth's hidden fleet? The human stared, eyes dull, lips sealed. Speak or I will carve the truth from you. Still nothing. Weeks passed. They kept him alive only to break him, but nothing changed. The tortures grew crueler, more inventive, powered by alien sciences designed to unravel the mind itself. But the human endured in silence, his breathing steady, his eyes unflinching. Shirathi did not know that this was humanity's oldest weapon. Endurance, waiting, patience sharpened across millennia of surviving every hell a world could throw. And while the Dominion's finest scientists clawed at his body, while their admiral demanded answers, something else crept unseen into their systems. Each scan, each neural probe, each invasive test they forced upon him carried more than data. It carried seeds, tiny packets of code hidden so deep in his biology. They thought them artifacts of human DNA. They called it junk. They called it useless. It was neither. It was the weapon. And silence was the trigger. On the 40th day, as the Dominion fleet gathered near the nebula of Serac Prime, preparing their final assault on Earth itself, the human finally moved a breath, a blink, a whisper. You're already dead. The words were quiet, but across every Dominion ship alarms screamed. Engines froze, shields collapsed, weapons locked, then turned inward. The seed code buried inside their networks bloomed like wildfire. AI companions turned executioner. Defense drones slaughtered their own crews. Carriers vented atmosphere into the void. In minutes, chaos consumed the greatest armada the Shirathi had ever assembled. The human stood as his chains, disintegrated, shut down by the same code that crippled the fleet. He walked past screaming guards, their implants frying their nervous systems into smoke. The flagship itself trembled under the weight of betrayal from within. Admiral Kor stormed into the chamber, blade in hand, spitting curses. What have you done? The human's gaze was calm, colder than steel. I said nothing. That was enough. Outside, Terran ships emerged from the nebula, silent redditors among burning wreckage. They hadn't come to fight. They had come to finish. Railguns tore through crippled cruisers. Swarms of hunter-killer drones devoured the remains. The Dominion's 1,000-year reign ended in fire. Kor lunged. The human moved once, just once, and the Admiral fell, his throat crushed, eyes wide with disbelief. By the time the Terran fleet secured the system, nothing remained of the Dominion armada but drifting corpses and shattered steel. The prisoner, no longer in chains, stood aboard the burning flagship, watching the flames consume his captors. He had not screamed. He had not pleaded. He had not cursed. He had only waited. And when he finally spoke, it was already too late. The story spread like shadow through the galaxy. Of the human who said nothing as his enemies tried to break him. Of the soldier who endured in silence until his captors themselves ignited the weapon hidden within him. Empires whispered warnings to their children. Do not mistake silence for surrender. Do not chain the humans, for they carry war in their very blood. And across the stars, one truth was repeated with trembling certainty. The human said nothing, and that was enough to end an empire.